Welcome to Blowing Solutions Wide Open, where we're talking about all things spiritual, as well as creating new systems in the area of healthcare, finance, government, education, and new environmental practices. My name is Addie Halkin. If you think that you have ideas or things to share in any of the areas I just mentioned, please feel free to email me at blowingsolutionswideopen@gmail.com. Or you could put the word guests in the comment section of this video, and I'd love to get back with you, potentially have you come on here to share with everybody what you know. If you think that you have ideas around helping the planet and helping humanity in areas that I did not mention, that's also very much wanted. Send it through. I'd love to hear about it. And if you're not somebody that enjoys being on a podcast, but you'd like to get some information through, please send it through the comments. And please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all those things if you want to see more content or you have an interest in getting alternative information out to more people. And so that kind of leads me into what I want to talk about today. The whole reason I was inspired to open this channel happened about a year and a half ago. I was taking an online course, and one of the homework assignments in this course was to go out and open a few different social media accounts. And one of those social media accounts happened to be TikTok. Now, I wasn't overly interested in TikTok. I had the impression that it was some kind of like young person's platform where it's a lot of like short form, silly content. Nothing wrong with that. I just wasn't super interested in it. But I will say that once I got on that platform, I was pretty pleasantly surprised. It was so full of abundant information, and I learned so much in the beginning of being on TikTok. It absolutely blew my mind, and I quickly realized that the reason that I love that platform so much had to do with that I was watching people, just everyday people, uncensored and unfiltered. And that is super powerful. I had no idea how powerful that is. I had no idea how many people are actually awake. It was a very unique experience that I have not seen on any of the other platforms. And so I was pretty excited about it. And then, as the story goes, the powers that be in the government got a hold of TikTok. They basically, saw what was happening. They saw that people were growing really, really well on that platform. They were ascending really well. We were becoming very powerful, and of course, they don't want that. And so they made up some false thing about how the owner of TikTok is from China and our security is being threatened. They always do that, oh, this is for your own good and we're protecting you, all this crap. So anyway, they came up with this false narrative. The owner of TikTok probably only owns about 20% of it. And the information of all the users is actually stored in the USA in like some kind of data server in Texas. So it was all false and garbage, but that's what they did. And so the powers that be tried to put together a TikTok ban bill, and initially it wasn't really getting through in the government. It wasn't getting passed. So what they did is they snuck a TikTok ban bill into the Ukraine funding bill. And I guess enough people in the government felt that they should be supporting the Ukraine bill, the Ukraine war funding bill, that the TikTok bill passed by default. And so I would say about a month after that thing passed, it was very apparent to a lot of us that TikTok had very much changed. I don't really even enjoy being on it anymore. It's very censored. There's accounts being shut down left and right for no good reason. There's posts being shut down. I know I had a couple of mine shut down for false reasons. And it's I don't see any of the abundance I used to see on it. And there's a lot of false stories on there now. Almost like as like a form of distraction, kind of like what they've done with the media. But I am very grateful for the initial kind of experience that I had on TikTok, because it really showed me the power of communication and the power of just people being their authentic self and speaking to each other. It was incredible. And so that's part of why I opened this channel. But I recently got a email from the founder of another platform called Rumble. I don't know really anything about this platform. I went on there one time. I've never posted myself, but I signed up with it a couple months ago because I had heard that it was a really good platform for free speech. And so the founder sent an email to all of us saying that the powers that be have been threatening him and basically telling him If he doesn't relinquish control to them, they're going to shut down all his sponsors, meaning like all the companies that support him through their advertisements. And he did not comply with them. But this is the kind of play that's going on right now. Censorship is getting to be very, very prevalent. A lot of us have been predicting this was the next phase that the powers that be were going to really go after. And so they are really getting after this now. Mark Zuckerberg apparently was in front of the Senate recently, and he admitted that he's been forced to censor people's political views on Facebook. I don't think that's any kind of surprise, but this is happening left and right. I did learn that the apparently the government within the last 4 years or so has opened a portal up in which they go into social media platforms as well as the search engines, and they just shut down posts and accounts as they see fit. They don't follow their own laws about this. They just if a post or an account is too inconvenient for them and too much causing them problems by telling the truth, they shut it down. And I can only imagine what they were saying to the founder of Rumble was that if you don't give us access through this portal, we're going to pull all your support. And obviously that's wrong. I don't really love talking about the government. It's something I don't know a ton about, and it's something that I'm not overly interested in. But unfortunately, it ties into so many of the things that we're experiencing right now um, that really needs to change. And so, one of the things that I was going to talk about today is the First Amendment. And the First Amendment, what the powers that be are telling us right now is that the First Amendment does not cover misinformation or disinformation, but that is actually not true. It actually does cover misinformation and disinformation, and and there's a reason for that. I know that doesn't sound like a good thing, but if you look at like some of the things that have been deemed as lies in the past, a lot of those things that were once considered to be lies or disinformation are very much true to people now as they have evolved and grown. And so it's really not for anybody to be determining what's true and not true for other people. And that's what the government is doing, and the powers that be are doing. They're basically saying they and they alone are the only ones that can determine what's true and what's not true, and that they're really there to protect us from other people's opinions. Um, that's not how it works. We are ultimately sovereign beings, and we have the right to make our own decisions about that. Unless you are like straight up verbally abusing someone, I don't think there's any grounds for shutting down anyone's account or anyone's posts. And so this is what's going on, and it's a desperate mo movement by the powers that be because they are getting more desperate right now because they realize we are waking up more and more, and they really think that they can stop this ascension process. That's ridiculous. They're never going to stop the energy of the planet, but they can do some real damage in the meantime. And so I do think censorship is one of those kind of damaged subjects where we are um, we need to find ways around this. We really do. There are people that are put on like secret domestic terror lists for simply, stating their political opinions. And if it doesn't line up with what the powers that be wants out there, they put them on these lists to try to suppress them. As we know, there are people that have been thrown in prison simply for their viewpoints on things. And so this is ultimately something that is not okay, in my opinion. I don't have a lot of suggestions on it. The only thing that I will say is that if you, in your everyday life, you are come across people that you think are like-minded enough to you, that you think that have enough of an open mind, talk. Of course, don't push your opinions on anybody, but talk. Don't try not to be shy. We need to hear things from each other. We need to not be suppressed in that way. And so, the other thing that I will say is that I absolutely do not think that we should stop posting on social media. In fact, I'm encouraging as many of you as I can get to come on social media more. Even if it's just your voice, I don't care. Just don't cower out of fear. Yes, it is discouraging and frustrating to have an account shut down. It is kind of hard to handle the negative comments at times. I get that. I've been there, but it's almost like to me, it's a small price to pay for freedom of speech. And the more of us that get on here and say, no, I'm going to stand my ground, the less able the powers that be are going to be able to keep up with each other or keep up with us. Because that's ultimately part of what's been happening is that more and more people are saying, I don't care anymore. I'm gonna say what I want to say. And so they're having a harder and harder time keeping up with us. And there's a lot more of us than there are people actually controlling the planet. So we need to really step into our power because in the end, we are the ones with the power. I know that's true. And so um anyhow, that's my thoughts on this. I hope it inspires you to stand firm around your right to speak. You deserve to speak whatever you want. And yeah, that's all I have to say today. So thanks for your time, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.